Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're gonna be doing my favorite ascendant. I decided to do them in reverse order so that Pisces can go first. So let's get into it. I'm gonna be giving you characteristics of Pisces rising, and then I'm gonna talk to you about the descendant. So that means the relationship needs that Pisces rising has. And then at the very end, I'm gonna give you a sample of a Pisces rising celebrity who I think really embodies that Pisces rising spirit and who really is a beacon of what Pisces rising could look like in the real world. Whenever you're in your room and nobody's watching and you could do whatever you want, you're pretty much behaving like your moon. Your moon is your comfortable side of yourself. So your ascendant is how you would behave if somebody walked in, especially someone you don't know very well, someone who you're not comfortable showing your moon to. How would you behave? How would you change your stance if somebody walked into the room? Remember that your chart has several layers. The ascendant has to be a layer. I would say it's the filter. It's the filter through which you see the world and the filter through which the world sees you. So if you have that Pisces ascendant, your filter is going to be rose. It's going to be pretty. And people are going to see you as a very sweet person, as a very tender, kind person, a do-gooder. You are a good person, Pisces rising. And you see the world as a good place, as a place of hope. You see people as redeemable and you see love in the world, and that is what you want to see. And actually, when you see pain and suffering, you could be deeply affected by it because that just doesn't resonate with your idea of the world, Pisces, because you want to see the world in a really idealistic light. You want to see everything as how it could be. And when things present themselves in the way that they actually are, that is very painful and jarring for you. You can have a tendency to get depressed, Pisces rising. So your ascendant is your social personality. It is how you present yourself to the world. And Pisces, their social personality can be a little bit shy and withdrawn. And the reason for that is because they like to observe and they like to see what is going on in the room. They like to sense the energy of the room before they really involve themselves. But that said, they are kind of go with the flow. So you could see them, sometimes you could see them being very engaged and very active if they happen to be surrounded by people that are positive and uplifting, or you could see them more like on the outskirts, more observing things. Pisces ascendant is ruled by Jupiter and Neptune. So they have that tendency to want to connect with others and to dissolve boundaries. Remember that your ascendant is kind of like your boundary between you and the world. So Pisces has a very dissolvable boundary between them and the other. That is what gives them that keen ability to connect with absolutely anyone. They could connect with a rock if they so needed to. I don't know if a Pisces ascendant will find that offensive, but they can literally connect with a rock. Like, these are the kind of people that are just like, I touch this stone and I know the vibe and I know the vibration and I know what this stone needs, what it wants, what it's good for. These are that kind of people, and they're not messing with you. They're not making it up. I think the entire, spiritual community, like the new age people, they try to put this on, but Pisces just invented it. Like, it's natural to them. So let me know, Pisces ascendant, in the comments if you think it's annoying that people are appropriating your culture. I almost think that it's cultural appropriation to do these things if you're not a Pisces ascendant. They can be a little bit shy and withdrawn at the beginning because they really are trying to observe and see how everybody else is interacting and how the vibe of the room is. So they're not going to just jump into things. Your ascendant is also how you present yourself in everyday life. So Pisces ascendant people really present themselves in a very sweet, accepting, loving way. Because remember that Venus is exalted in Pisces because Pisces is all love. They have love for everybody and they really accept everyone. They're not judgmental people. These are the kind of people that will accept the most horrible criminal that is just hated by everyone, people that are demonized by everyone. Pisces ascendant can be like, well, I could see how that happened to you. I could see how life led you in that direction. Pisces is just so understanding. It's very difficult for them to separate themselves from other people. So it's very easy for them to understand others. Because of this, they can have a tendency to be a little bit indecisive because they don't want to be like, oh, well, that's wrong, or you did the wrong thing, because they are so accepting and they really are able to put themselves in the shoes of absolutely everybody else. So the way that Pisces interacts with the world is with an open heart. They accept everyone who comes into contact with them, and they're very much in tune to other people's emotions, to other people's needs, and especially other people's suffering. They can just know when somebody is suffering and going through something, and they have that tendency, that need to try to help that person overcome whatever it is that they're going through. They also are attuned to the needs of animals. And I know that I was joking about the rocks, but they really are very concerned with the well-being of the planet, because Pisces really has transcended everything, and they really are the people that have that understanding that we are all connected, and they're able to feel that and see that, and they just don't understand how people can judge each other when we are all the same. The ascendant is also how you perceive the world. So Pisces rising really perceives the world as all good. They really have that really trusting, loving heart that is just like, people are good if you give them a chance to. People will rise to the occasion if you give them a chance to. People are born good. They have that really, that some people might think of as rose-colored glasses, or you might think of as just being optimistic, because remember, they are ruled by Jupiter. So they really have a tendency to think that everyone is good. So they tend to be trusting. Because of this, they can be a little bit gullible. Pisces also has a tendency to believe that everybody is worthy of love and everybody is worth saving. They will not turn their backs on people. They will not be like, oh, that person is irredeemable. Like, that person is just garbage. Pisces will always see the one glimmer of hope in a person's heart and be like, that person is worth saving. And Pisces is the kind of person to be like, I want to do the saving. They see that. Pisces rising will always have this tendency to sense other people's emotions, and because their boundary with other people is so ephemeral, so thin, it's like a see-through veil between them and other people, they really have to be careful with people who are just in bad moods or in bad states of mind, because Pisces rising can just morph into them. They're kind of like mood rings. They will mirror what other people are doing, and they won't do it intentionally to be harmful. They won't be like, oh, you're being ugly, so I'm gonna be ugly. But actually, Pisces rising, if somebody's being ugly with them, they'll just shut down, because they are just like, danger, 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 like, I'm going to be invaded, like, this is painful, they don't like it. They're very tender, so they will shut down. But overall, they're kind of like a mood ring. You could see how everybody else is feeling based on how the Pisces is doing. So they should be really careful to be around people that have very intense energy, because they could pretty much catch it. Just like catching a cold, Pisces rising will catch a depression, or they will catch pessimism. Just anything that they are around, they have that tendency to catch it. So they need to be careful with that. So all the interactions that you had when you were a child, those are the ones that really formed your ascendant. So your ascendant is like your spacesuit that you put on that is going to allow you to survive in the atmosphere that surrounds you. So because the atmosphere that surrounds Pisces rising, what they left behind in the 12th house, that's Aquarius. So Aquarius wants to recognize the group and their part in the group. They want to be in a group and recognize that, hey, we're part of this cultural group, we're part of this social group, part of this political group. They want to have those group associations. Pisces is leaving that behind. They are leaving those group associations behind and really understanding and seeing from the highest vantage point that everyone is connected and everybody is together. So their spacesuit kind of doesn't have a lot of protection. Their spacesuit is just like, hey man, like, we're kind of like a stoner, just like, I love you, man, like, we're together, like, the world is one. They're the ones who really are on that wavelength of understanding that we're all together, we're all one. So whenever anything doesn't match that and doesn't resonate with that thought or that idea, they're just like, what are you doing? Like, why are you behaving like that? Like, we're all brothers and sisters. Like, we're all here together. We're in this together, man. Why are you being like that? That's very much how Pisces rising is. So let's talk about the descendant and your relationship needs, Pisces rising. Your descendant, if you have a Pisces rising, is going to be Virgo. So what does that tell you, Pisces? Pisces, because they are very go with the flow, I really like to use the word whimsical about Pisces. Pisces risings are very whimsical. And what does whimsical mean? A whim is just a feeling that overcomes you, just like a gust of wind. It reminds you of a gust of wind. Pisces rising could just see a sunset, and that sunset will put them in the most beautiful feeling, and they could go write a poem, they could go sing a song. They'll be elated just from seeing a beautiful sunset. But by that same token, they could see something very sad on television and that will just ruin their day or ruin their mood, and just like they'll go off on that whim, you know, like they could go on any feeling. It's very difficult for them to remain centered and grounded. So Virgo, on the other hand, is very discerning. Virgo criticizes everything. Virgo really is itemizing all the things that they are coming into contact with because they're ruled by Mercury. But it is Mercury in an earth sign. So more than anything, Pisces rising, you need somebody who's going to ground you, somebody who's going to keep your feet on the ground, because even though you are an earth angel, even though you're an angel, you really are an earth angel, Pisces. You have to remember that you're here on planet Earth. And even though your hopes and your dreams are really like out of this world, you have to remind yourself that you're on this planet, you're on planet Earth, and you need to, those dreams that you have, in order to see them come to fruition, you need to take steps, Virgo steps, okay? So somebody who's going to, what you need in a relationship is somebody who's going to take care of those earthly needs that you tend to forget. And I'm not saying like somebody who's going to get you food or get to take care of you financially, not necessarily, but somebody who reminds you that you need those things, because Pisces rising people can have a tendency to forget that they're human beings, and they can feel like they're just like floating spirits and they just go around just floating around and they forget their bodies. So you need somebody who's going to remind you to stay in your body and keep you grounded. That's really important for you, Pisces rising. Now we're gonna go through a Pisces rising example, and I'm not gonna put up her chart, just trust me, she's a Pisces rising, you could see it, I'm gonna put up pictures of her. People with Pisces rising, they have a very distinct appearance, even though it's not, okay, I shouldn't say distinct because it's not jarring, it's very soft, but they have these dreamy eyes that they look like they're sleepy or like they're stoned. They look like they are in a faraway place, or they're thinking of a faraway place. And Billie Eilish just has that look. And I know several people who have a Pisces rising, and they all just have that look, that it's just like a calm angel look to them. They just look like angels to me. Billie Eilish, the reason why I chose her is because she really embodies that Pisces rising spirit. I think she just has Pisces rising. She doesn't have any planets in Pisces. But remember that your rising is the way that you're interacting with the world. And if you look at how this young woman is interacting with the world, she's doing it in a very Pisces rising sort of way. Yes, she is a Sagittarius and she does have an Aquarius moon. So she is fiery and she is a little bit of a rebel. Like in the same breath, she is very much about connecting with her audience in a way that is abnormal for a celebrity. So I'm gonna give you some examples of what she does. Whenever she is performing, she is there. It is like she's singing, but she's a part of it. She's like experiencing it through her audience. And when people really get into her songs, like she cries. She literally cries because she is going through the emotions that everybody else is going through too. And also whenever she's singing, like she always wants to touch her audience and she wants to be close to them because she feels close to them. And that is really beautiful and is very Pisces rising of her. And whenever she's interviewed, she talks about how she would always dream of being able to do this. And whenever you talk to people with a lot of Pisces in their chart, or Pisces rising people, they'll talk about their dreams, either their literal dreams that they have when they're sleeping, or their dreams, their aspirations, and the things that they aspired to do in the future. She always references dreams, and she's always like, this is beyond my wildest dreams, beyond my wildest dreams. And whenever I would hear her talk, I was like, Pisces, I see you. Okay, so look at her eyes. Like she really has these otherworldly, angelic looking eyes, ocean eyes. Okay, I have this quote from her where she said, I don't want to think of them as fans. I don't want to talk to them as fans. Those are my siblings. That's what she says. And I know that for some people, like there's people who are like, oh, she's an industry plant, she's fake. You can't fake an astrology chart. You cannot, like you can't, unless you're a Capricorn and you absolutely just have no faith in the world. But you could just sense that this girl is genuine and she is just authentic, and you can't fake that. And even if you try to fake it, guys, like we have her chart, we have her AA chart, like we know that her birth time is accurate. We know she's a Pisces rising. So if you have her chart, you know this is real. So if you were thinking that she was a fake, I'm exposing her right now as truly a Pisces rising, somebody who is incredibly sincere. She couldn't lie, she's a Sagittarius. So Pisces people, like they don't feel special in the least. They don't feel special. They feel like everybody else. Okay, that's a lie. They feel a little bit special because they know how magical they are. They know how magical they are, but at the same time, they feel like their needs are not greater than the needs of anybody else. They feel that they shouldn't get any special treatment because they're just one of everyone else. They can have this tendency to have like resting bitch face in photos, but it's not resting bitch face in a Capricorn sort of like taut sort of way. It is more like stoner face, but they have criticized her for having like resting bitch face in photos. But it's really like their eyes seem like they're far away somehow, like they're like dreaming of something. She said this in an interview. She said, "I hate smiling. It makes me feel weak and powerless and small." And I was just like, that is such a thing to say for a Sagittarius who has a Pisces rising, because Sagittarius is a fire sign. They like to feel fiery and empowered and strong. Sagittarius likes to feel strong because they are strong. Sagittarius. But she has that Pisces rising, so she knows how vulnerable she is, and she doesn't like it because those signs are squared. So you can hear the discomfort with how vulnerable she knows herself to be. She also has had a lot of injuries from dancing, such a Pisces thing. She has a tendency to be injured, and then she performs through those injuries. Like she'll have like a cast on her ankle or wherever, and she'll just be performing. Having a Pisces rising does make you more prone to injuries because your constitution tends to be weaker. And I don't mean like physically weak, like you're weakling, but like you could catch a cold and get really sick. And lastly, she writes songs in the perspective of other people in a very believable way. And this is a very Pisces ability. Pisces have an ability to just get in the shoes and in the body of other people. And this is something that only they can do. They're like shapeshifters. This is why they're really good at writing music and transmitting emotions to us as if they live those things. They're also really good at acting. Because of that, they're able to connect to emotions that aren't their own. So if they get a script, they'll be able to just read it and just embody it and really feel it and transmit it to the audience. That's the video for today, guys. If you like the video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to my channel, subscribe. I put out astrology videos every single week, and I will see you in the next one.